The last game we saw Victor Wembanyama play was on the 1st of February against the Milwaukee Bucks. In that game against Giannis and Dame, Wemby finished with 30 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 blocks, blowing out one of the best teams in the East and outplaying two of the best players in the NBA. Well, now Victor Wembanyama has a legitimate second option next to him, and if you thought the future in San Antonio was already scary, things just got a lot scarier for the rest of the NBA.
All right, Briscoe Needs back here with you on SportsCenter. Our top story coming out of Sunday from the NBA, De'Aaron Fox, yes, going to San Antonio. Sources telling our NBA insider Shams Charania that he will team up with Wemby in a 3-team trade that also sent Zach LaVine to Sacramento.
De'Aaron Fox is now going to be playing alongside Victor Wembanyama, and most importantly for the Spurs, they had to move 0 of their most important assets. Not Devin Vassell, not Jeremy Sohan, not Stephon Castle, Zach Collins, Trey Jones, and Sadie Sissoko were the assets that they had to give up alongside 4 first-round picks, of course, but to get an all-star level player, a guy who averages 25 points a game, has been the clutch player of the year, is in the prime of his career without giving up any of your most valuable assets, hats off to the Spurs. Hats off to the Spurs. And when you talk about the value of first-round picks, that is tied to how well you expect a team to perform over the next decade. A team with Victor Wembanyama and now De'Aaron Fox alongside other really promising young players is not going to be in the lottery. And before we talk about anyone else on this team, Victor Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox. What this tells us is what we already know. There is no time frame on when the Spurs can compete with Wemby. As of right now, he's ready, and we can see that with the Spurs only a few games out of the play-in as of now, and adding De'Aaron Fox, which gives them a great chance at making a push. Because let's just talk about Fox, why don't we? Fox is someone who has always been an interesting name. Despite averaging 25 a game in 4 of the last 5 seasons, he's only been an all-star in 1 of those years. He doesn't get talked about the way guys like Anthony Edwards, Devin Booker, Ja Morant, Jaylen Brown, and others do, which I think has largely been because the Kings have been bad up until the last couple of years, but I just think in a new environment with a guy like Wemby, there is going to be so much more attention on his game, and I think it's going to be positive attention. And aside from the obvious, like his speed, what makes Fox so dangerous as a scorer is his in-between game. It's that combination of acceleration and deceleration which gets him to spots in and around the paint where he can use his array of floaters, middies, push shots, turnarounds, all of those kind of shots. And it's a play like this against Austin Reeves, where Fox lulls him to sleep with quite a patient initial couple of dribbles, but look at the hesitation on that spin. He holds it for just a second to freeze Reeves and then so quickly spins the other way for the fadeaway jumper. This is why Fox is so hard to contain. It's not just pure speed on straight line drives, which obviously he has, but it's that ability to slow down for that split second and then speed up in an instant, which is so impossible to defend. It's the same reason guys like Luka Doncic and Jalen Brunson are unguardable despite not being very quick. Fox obviously has the speed, but most importantly, he has the craft. Like again on this play against Daniels, who does everything perfectly defensively, staying attached the whole way, but it's just that little pump fake from De'Aaron that freezes him for a fraction of a second, allowing him to get his jumper off over the top. Or how about this play against Ja Morant, where he's getting pressed all the way up the court, and with Ja obviously having the speed to stick with him, Fox uses his strength to get the advantage, going to bully ball, backing him down, and then turning on a dime to knock down the midi. This is what you get from De'Aaron Fox as a scorer in addition to his rim pressure. And then there's the playmaking, which might get overlooked given the 25 points a game and given the fact his assist numbers were a little lower, playing alongside a center who was the hub of the Kings offense, but Fox is a guy who is very capable of making the right reads, finding shooters after collapsing the defense, finding his big and pick and pop situations, which we've seen more of Sabonis, and with Wemby, well, he's going to have a bit more of a lob threat than he had in Sacramento, a bigger lob threat than almost anyone in NBA history, that is. And I think the biggest thing to note is that we've seen the first year and a half with Wemby. Not only has he been generational in every sense of the word, but during his first year in the league, we saw the Spurs thrive with Trey Jones on the floor alongside him. They then went and got Chris Paul, who even at 40 years old has thrived alongside Wemby. Because let's be honest, any competent point guard is going to do well alongside a 7'4" lob threat who can take 10 threes a game, catch lobs from literally anywhere, and do everything in between. So now you're adding a point guard who is in the prime of his career, who is an all-star caliber player, and has already proven he can have a dynamic partnership with a big man like Domantas Sabonis. Whether you think De'Aaron Fox is an all-NBA level player or his ceiling is being an all-star, either one will make this team seriously good alongside Wemby. And while Sabonis and Wemby are clearly different players, just Fox's ability to operate in pick and roll situations, getting his defender on his back and then deciding to either throw the pass to Sabonis, or if the big stays attached, getting to that mid-range spot and doing what he does so well, that's going to translate playing with Vic, and they're both going to benefit from each other's ability to put pressure on the defense. Now, it's not all perfect. The three-point shooting is obviously the question mark. Well, it's not even really a question mark, it's just the clear negative aspect of his game, with Fox only having one good shooting season for pretty much the entirety of his career, which was last year when he shot 37% on nearly 8 attempts per game. Aside from that, it has been low 30s since he became a lead guard, and the reason this is concerning is two of the Spurs' other core pieces have question marks over their shooting: Jeremy Sohan and Stephon Castle. These are two guys who I personally really like, with both having really unique skill sets with a blend of size, physicality, passing, and interior scoring, but what they don't have is shooting, which means you could have three guys who have serious question marks over their shooting, and two guys in Sohan and Castle who at this stage in their careers are effectively non-shooters. And one other aspect of Fox's game that I have always found quite interesting is the defense. Early in his career, there was expectations that he could be an all-NBA level defender with his quickness and active hands, but then as time went on, the perception has gone the other way, and in my opinion, too far the other way, with people acting like he's a traffic cone on that end of the floor. But I see him as someone who is solid on defense. He's not Gary Payton, but if you put him on a team where you have the best defender in the league, you have a guy in Stephon Castle who I've seen enough to know he will be a great guard defender, and then Jeremy Sohan as well, there is no way De'Aaron Fox is going to tank this defense. And now that he's surrounded by great defensive pieces, I could see him going from a neutral to a positive on that end of the floor, which might catch some people by surprise, but I think the signs have been there. Regardless, Wemby gets himself an all-star level player in the prime of his career, and that just can't be a negative. Now, if you made it all the way to the end of the video and want to see more content like this, consider subscribing, dropping a like in the video would be cool. Most importantly, have a great day.